Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnock Reviews. Today we're checking out a 2003 Sabre 42 Express. This one's up for sale in Jacksonville, Florida. At the time of shooting the video, she was up for sale for $299,500 from my good friends at Zeigler Yacht Sales. This one's priced far lower than most others on the market because she does have a couple of projects that she's going to need taken care of in the next few seasons. I'm a big fan of this type of yacht because you can enjoy this yacht for doing weekend cruises down to St. Augustine just as much as you can for tackling big voyages like doing the Great Loop. And in 2020 this one had the hull professionally repainted. You can see it's got this really nice deep dark shine to her. You got the extended bathing platform with the board and ladder built into it. You see we've got mounting brackets on here for your tender as well as your outboard. And that bathing platform makes boarding really easy to do. And then we can just step in through that transom door into the aft cockpit. There's a ton of space out here to enjoy while you're cruising. You can also use this for fishing. You'll see there's a few rod holders throughout. The woodwork's got a real nice finish to it. In my opinion, not only does it give a quality feel, but it also brings that nautical feel to it. And if you've been into swimming or diving, this one's also got a hot and cold shower on the transom. That way you can rinse off before you go into the accommodation. And there's a number of rear facing seats out here in the aft cockpit, and I like the fact that underneath both of them you'll find that we have got lock-in storage. And then as I go to make my way to the bow, you see we've got great deck space for doing that. There's handholds everywhere. You also have that wood finish again. But one of the projects that might need to be tackled in the next couple of years is, although the hull is professionally painted, the superstructure is starting to show signs where it could do with getting painted. No signs of any damage, leaks or anything like that, just a sheer matter of age, especially living in the Florida area. You've got non-slip deck making your way up to the bow. Plenty of room on top of that coach roof for sitting out or laying out. And then on the bow itself you're going to find we've got an electric windlass. This can be operated from here or at the helm. And for those tackling the Great Loop, you're going to love the low air draft on this one. You're looking at 42 feet in length, you're looking at a beam of just over 14 feet, maximum draft of just under 4 feet, but the bridge clearance is just over 13 feet, so you don't have to worry about those bridge access areas. And as I make my way back to the aft cockpit, you'll notice there's 3 large hatch covers in here. If I pop these all open, you'll see that we've got plenty of storage, we've got access to all your steering gear. And Sabre think of everything. If you look at the hatch covers themselves, you'll notice that they're all self-draining. That way nothing pulls up. And then as I lean further in with the camera, take a notice and look how dry the bilges are. And you'll also notice in the port quarter, we have got things like a spare anchor, we've got a number of health and safety apparatus, and everything seems to be securely in place. And then for cruising, you're going to love the cockpit in this one. This one can be fully air conditioned, just keep those canopy covers closed. But if you want fresh air, you've got the sliding windows on either side, and of course you can roll that canopy up. The woodwork's a great feature in here. I love the headroom. I'm 6'2", I don't have any issues, at no point do I feel it touching my head. Plenty of seating out here for your family and friends to join you as you cruise. Even got an outdoor wet bar up here, an ice bog down below. And for a yacht that doesn't have a flybridge, I love the amount of visibility this one has. It feels like it'd be very easy for close quarter manoeuvring, bringing it into the marina, going through lock gates, things like that. I appreciate having both a helm seat and a co-pilot seat, especially if you're doing husband and wife cruising. And for cruising, you're going to have plenty of space if you want to do your paper charts, your logbooks, your almanacs, or for keeping any emergency paperwork close at hand. As well as those sliding windows, we also have the opening hatch on the roof. And then you see here we've got the helm on the starboard side. And this helm seat's very, very comfortable. The armrests are also retractable, so you can lift those up if you want to. And although there's nothing wrong with the electronics that's on board, one of the reasons this one's been priced low is at some point you're probably going to want to personalise these with your own upgrades. But for now you do have the Raymarine equipment on board. You've got the radar on the left side, and you've got a chart plotter on the right. You also have your Raymarine Tridara with your speed log and depth. Above that is a Simrad autopilot. This is an AP22. And although this yacht does have twin screw, she is also equipped with a bow thruster. You've got the full engine instrumentation right here on the dash. And when I was on board, the engines read only 925 hours on the clock. Down below you're going to find your ICOM VHF radio, as well as controls and alarms for the bilge pumps. These are split into section with the forward, mid and aft. You get a good sized ship's wheel, and you can adjust the angle of this one, so whether you're sitting or standing you can adjust it to suit. You got your windlass controls right here at the helm. More toggle switches available on the starboard side. And then before going down into the lower accommodation, I just want to point out that that centre window, that also opens if you want additional fresh air and ventilation coming through as you cruise. And as you make your way into the lower accommodation, on the starboard side right next to the helm, that's where you're going to find your main breaker panel for the yacht, as well as the generator controls. This is a Northern Lights generator. I'm not sure if you pick it up on the camera, but this one had 759 hours on the clock when I was on board. I like the way the control switches for your AC and DC connections, how well they're labelled and also illuminated. And then I am a massive fan of the woodwork and all the colours of the materials that they've used in here for really bringing that high class quality premium feel and also a very nautical feel to the boat. At the bottom of the steps on the port side, that's where you're going to find the galley. This one's got everything you need for preparing your favourite meals. You get a Panasonic convection microwave oven up overhead. There's a lot of storage throughout this galley, throughout the yacht in general. You've then got the electric stovetop. Down below you've got a good sized fridge. This fridge does have an icebox in it as well. Stainless steel sink. And plenty of ventilation, especially if you're cooking. Not only do you have the porthole on the side, but you get a hatch overhead. And then we've got the saloon, and you can see here that this one's got a cockpit table. That table actually drops down. You can convert this into a double berth if you need to. And I like the fact that you can lock the table into position regardless of what height it's at. And notice most of the storage you'll see here has got that ventilated slat system. That way you get fresh air circulating through and you don't have the same dampness and mildew smell you sometimes have on boats. And at the saloon we've got storage both behind the seats, but we've actually got storage underneath the seats too. Plenty of nautical artwork and features throughout this one. We've then got those extra opening porthole hatches, as well as the hatches overhead. To starboard at the bottom of the step, you're going to find a double guest cabin. This one's got the infill that converts this out to a double berth. Plenty of storage compartments in here. I like that push button locking mechanism that they have. That way nothing opens while the boat's underway. Opening porthole hatches, hatches overhead. You've got a massive access panel that leads to the electronics. So if you are upgrading those electronics, it should be easy enough for a professional to do. And then this one's also got a table that comes out. And again, you could use this also for plotting your course and doing your paper charts. Got more hanging locker space. And then when we go back into the saloon, on the starboard side, we've got a large flat screen TV mounted up here for entertainment. You got DVD player, you got stereos, you get your AC controls. And then moving forward again, next up is going to be the head compartment. Now this head compartment can be accessed from the main saloon, but it can also be accessed from the owner's cabin forward if you want that extra privacy. And the head compartment benefits from having a separate toilet and shower compartment. That way it just makes both sections more accessible. And the shower compartment does also have a little seat moulded into the fiberglass. It's got some nice wooden finish to it as well. And as for tank capacities, you're going to get 160 gallon fresh water, 60 gallon holding tank, and there's actually 450 gallons of diesel on board as well. And then on the bows, we're going to find the owner's stateroom. This one's got a very large centerline berth, easily accessible on either side. Again, I was impressed with all the woodwork in here. I like that bright colour, doesn't feel dark and claustrophobic. All the drawers have got that push button lock mechanism, just like the rest of the yacht. We also have more drawers underneath the bed itself. And then on the starboard side, we've got the cedar lined hanging locker space. And that large holdall you see, that's just full of paperwork to do with the yacht. All the history of it, the servicing, all the owner manuals, all documented and ready for you to review. And again, this one's got a large hatch overhead as well as opening portholes on either side for both light and ventilation. There's a TV mounted on the bulkhead behind the door leading into the cabin. And then finally I want to take you down into the engine room. The engines are accessed right next to the helm. And once you make your way down here, you're going to find a pair of Yanmar. These are 6 CXM GTE2 diesel engines. These are approximately 500 horsepower each. As I mentioned earlier, they've only got 925 hours on the clock. In the right conditions, you can expect this one to hit a top speed in the high 20s. You're going to fast cruise around 20, and you're going to slow cruise somewhere around 10, 12 knots, things like that. You also have the Northern Lights generator down here. And throughout the entire engine room, there was no signs of any damage that I could see, no signs of leaks, whether that's water, oil, diesel. Generators in a large sound box, so I'm willing to bet you hardly know that's running, especially when you're at anchor. And look how dry the bilges are, especially the prop shafts. I certainly understand the appeal in this type of yacht, but as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. If you can leave a comment down below. If you haven't done so already, if you can hit that like and subscribe button, it really does make a difference. I'd like to thank Mark once again for the opportunity to come on board and share this one with you. And I look forward to catching you on the next one. Thanks everyone.